Hello, and welcome back to the Aapna Reds podcast with the normal ratings, reactions, and reviews you expect from a normal podcast, with an added tandoori twist brought to you by myself and Anil. Anil, how are you doing today?
Kindamandia, you good?
Badhiya, bahut badhiya. Happier to be with you as well. Nice to see you back.
That's a nice compliment on a Saturday night.
Even when there's no football, we're still back here talking as always,
There's
adding
a
our own
dodgy
little
game
two
on earlier,
cents
wasn't
in.
there?
How have you found it without any football on this weekend?
It's always weird, isn't it? It just
Yeah, do you see the
you feel
family?
like,
Finally speak to them again now that football's gone?
I managed to make some excuses and do some gardening.
That's the one. So you've been proper
Yes.
Pakistan this time, haven't you, this weekend when there's no football?
That's it, man. Well, this is the thing. You're normally looking at your phone, looking for some news. I mean,
Yeah.
once that Salah news fizzled out, there wasn't really much else on. The England game doesn't really. What's the way of putting it? It's not really that exciting, is it? But anyway,
Not anymore.
How you been?
All good. All happy to start this podcast again, and lovely to start reviewing Liverpool's season so far. So we'll get into that. Unbeaten. We've been used to seeing Liverpool unbeaten for the past few seasons. Obviously, not so much last season, but we're back again. How does it feel for you? So 10 points, third in the league, only topped by Man City, who obviously are unbeaten, are sort of rivals at the moment. We know how good they are. What did you think when you went into the season? What did you expect? And how do you feel now looking at it at the international break?
To be fair, probably about where I expected. Probably a little bit better. If I'm honest, I wasn't massively confident about going away to Newcastle. The Chelsea one, I expected a draw. And then Villa a win. What was the other game?
I can't
Forgot
remember.
now.
You can tell the international break has got to us now. Villa.
That's how important that game was.
I know.
But yeah, I think, if I'm honest, I'm happy with where we are.
Yeah.
I'm happy. Yeah, that's it, Bournemouth. Of course it was. Yeah. Happy. And I think there's more to come, which is even better. I think I'm more excited about when we got some big games coming up. I don't think the Chelsea one opening day of the season, it was a bit 50-50. We didn't really know what was coming out, but now we've got a bit of an idea of what we're playing like and how we can play. A little bit excited now about playing some of these big games.
We've had a few big games. So, first of all, where do we even start? Where do we begin at this point? For me, I think we've done really well. I agree with you there that we've. It's almost caught me by surprise. I think that Liverpool have started well. I think the players have started really well as well, which has been a big surprise. That Szoboszlai and McAllister have really gelled into the team. I think again the way that we've played football is Klopp football, but with a few more tweaks to it. It sort of seems a bit different, and I was quite surprised. I've always said that the thing that annoys me most about Klopp is that Klopp Mama, he's so stubborn. He just goes, right, and I'm not going to change any other way. It doesn't matter what happens, whatever circumstances come, I'm playing this way. But it seems this season, knowing that it's been a revamp and there's been changes just, off the field and on the field, he seems to have mellowed a bit and gone, you know what, Jalmundo, just, we'll play a different brand of football. And, it seems like players are allowed to be a bit more individual. And we've seen that, particularly in the last game, which we can sort of talk about now, is Villa, Szoboszlai. How many times has the ball fallen to the edge of the box and the season's gone and it's been shanked into the stands by, normally it's Curtis Jones or it's God knows who, or Henderson, trying to put it back in and hit the first man. And instead, the Hungarian Sher comes in, Torque, bottom corner. What did you make of that goal? And what did you make of the game in general?
On first impression, when I was watching it live, I thought it was a deflection. And then when they slowed it down, I looked back at it. I was like, that's Thiago-esque. And I think everyone's been mentioning it as that. What a connection. What a goal. What a time to score as well. How early was it? Second, third minute?
Yeah, early on.
It set the tone for the game, didn't it? They were on top of Villa. I don't know how much. I mean, we were good. Don't get me wrong. We did what we had to do and we played well. But Villa were bad as well. Villa were really
Mm.
bad, and I think they allowed us to play the way we played. But yeah, that goal just set the tone. You knew there was going to be a couple more at least minimum.
Yeah.
We could have had a lot more, considering if our number 9 knew how to score, then we'd.
I thought you knew what to do this season. Make up your mind.
You know
It
what?
comments you going, yeah, he's the one. Next minute,
I'm telling you, I'm wondering whether he's a super sub. I'm wondering whether he's a super sub and whether you need to bring him on when all the defenders are tired and he just absolutely blasts them.
let's screw up.
Um,
Yeah.
starting at Anfield maybe got to his head a little bit. But to be fair, he had the chances. There's not we can't deny that he's creating chances.
Yeah.
But yeah, Soboslai is just something else. I keep seeing those pictures on Instagram of like Soboslai 60, Mason Mount 60 million. They got robbed. We got a bargain, all that kind of thing. So at the moment, Touchwood carries on, stays uninjured, all that. He is, whatever he touches at the moment is turning into gold.
And we finally managed to get a clean sheet as well at the other end. I know we've
Without
had
Van
some
Dijk, what did I tell you?
cowards to start, but finally Allison gets his reward, keeping a goal.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Take
I'm
Van
telling
Dijk
you.
out. Maybe you got it right.
I told you. Even though he's our captain and on paper he's meant to be our best defender, he's going through some confidence issues. I'm telling you. But the boys that came in, what a performance, man! What a performance! I mean, Joe Gomez.
Did you expect that from Gomez and Matip at centre half, or was it a bit of a
I think I've
surprise the way
mentioned this
that?
before, man. I've mentioned this before. I'm a big fan of Gomez. I would always pick him over Matip, but he's got that tendency to have an off game, and when he has an off game, it's not good. It's not good. So if he can consistently play like that, he'll be, he'll be part of the best partnership in the division. You know what I mean? But we need that consistency from him. But that performance, it needed a clean sheet and it got one.
Yeah, and I think we know this season that conceding goals and goal difference is so important, especially in title races now when City seem to score 5-6 goals and only concede one in the end. The same with Spurs. Spurs conceding 1-2 goals and managed to bang in 5. So I think clean sheets are really important this season as well as attacking.
Well, so I think goal difference wise, we're never gonna catch City, are we? I think we had that one season where we were just like neck and neck everything. But at the moment with Haaland, the hottie up front, he just literally there's no stopping the man. There's no stopping the man. So until he comes up against Gomez, maybe we'll see.
Yeah, I dread to think of the day, to be honest with you. But we'll talk a bit now about who you think has been Klopp's Kohinoors of the season. Who's been the gems for his team? Who's been the signings that have impressed you? Because for me, I think it's one man, and that is Dominic Szoboszlai for me. It's got to be him. And I think that it's like you mentioned there. You see the comments of we got him for 60 million, and then Man United got Mount, and you look at Chelsea, the money they spent on Lavia, and he's sat in the stands because he can't get into the squad. It says a lot. So what do you think? Who are you picking as a Klopp's Kohinoor?
Same as you, man. Same as you. The only person. I mean, him, McAllister as well, but Szoboszlai obviously slightly more. He just hasn't had a bad game, has he? He's just not had a bad game, and not only that, I think you'd be you could probably say he's been man of the match every game. He's been that good.
I don't know if that says how good he is or how dodgy the team has been as well.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Saying that though, I'm going to bring it back. I'm going to bring it back to the Villa game. Do you think he was man of the match?
I think he's going to have to be, isn't he? He's just running the show. I mean, Curtis Jones, and considering he started as well, I was quite surprised to see him in the team.
I'm going to put another name in there, man. I'm going to put another name in there.
Go on then.
Trent.
I mean,
he ran the show,
and he wasn't playing in midfield either. See,
but to be fair, he was controlling it from midfield. Like they had this new system where he was coming into the centre back position, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's a good shout.
He
He
literally
was
was given,
outstanding.
yeah, he gave so much. He was given so much time on the ball.
Yeah.
We're not going to get that against bigger teams, but if you're going to give him that much time, he's gonna produce. And some of the passes he was putting in,
Yeah.
the
I
Salah
reckon it's the
one,
captain's armband. Do you reckon he's got like extra Shakti now that he's got the
oh,
armband on him? He's got
I
extra
wonder,
powers. Do you reckon that
I
it is?
wonder. Yeah, that might be it. That's a good shout. It's a good shout. Maybe he needs a bit more of a boost beforehand rather than what he normally gets, which is everyone just bashing him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, captain's performance, that was. I would have given it to him. I don't know if Soboslai got it, but you know, either of them, could have got it. They were both class, both class. But yeah, man of the season so far, Soboslai, 100%, 100%.
Well, we obviously know that Trent went off as well at the end of the game with an injury. Where do you
Nah,
think that leaves Liverpool then? Looking a bit
nah,
forward to the next few weeks. Now
he's not
knowing
injured.
that Van Dijk's missing a game extra with
Yeah, yeah.
sort of the extra ban, but Trent maybe not being ready for Wolves, and we've missed out on James Milner now. We don't have our starlet at right back. I don't know, apart from Quansah going in at centre
Yeah,
half and
man.
Gomez going out to the right, I don't think Calvin Ramsey, well, has he gone on loan this season as well,
Yeah, I
Calvin
think, yeah.
Ramsey? So it's a bit light in the right back department. What are we going to do?
I genuinely think Trent is blagging it. He didn't want to go to the England game.
Well,
I don't think he wanted to play for England.
to be fair, if you've got Maguire and Henderson getting a picks ahead of you, then you can't really win, can you?
That's what I mean. I think he would love to play for England. I think he would love to play for a manager that thinks, you know what, this is my right back. I want him there every single game. I think he doesn't like wasting his time going on these, training camps and just not getting picked and sitting in the
Yeah,
stands. I think Klopp, my mum must have said, "Listen, I'm gonna do that to you at some point. I'm gonna show you my goodie," and then that's when you need to start doing a bit of drama, do a bit of Indian dramas, and start, pretending like you got a hamstring problem. I'm
he
hoping
did a
that
good
this is
job.
me being very hopeful, but if let's say for example he is injured and he's not here for the Wolves game, Quansah, man, easy, put him in, put Joe Gomez at right back. I'll be happy with that back four. I'd be happy with that.
Well, we'll have to wait until Wolves to find out then. But another man that could be starting in Wolves, you never know, who's decided he isn't going to go play for the national team is our new signing, Ryan Gravenberch. First of all, last minute signing, what did you make of that? Because for me, it's a shame that it's been at the last minute because there was talks about it happening at the start of the season, and it looked like it was on the edge with obviously the Palhinha transfer collapsing for Bayern as well. So for me, it's
Yeah.
like we could have got this done earlier and maybe looked at getting a centre half and later on. But what do you make of him getting it over the line and coming to Liverpool?
Yeah, very similar to what you're thinking. I think they dragged it out quite a bit.
Yeah,
His name was linked throughout
yeah,
the transfer market. So I don't know what is going on with Liverpool. We're not used to seeing Liverpool leave stuff to the last day and last week. We normally get the business done early. And with Soboslai and McAllister, I thought, okay, here we go. Once they were signed, I was expecting a few more straight away, but yeah, they've left it late. Gravenberch, Burke, however you want to say it. Didn't know much about him. Obviously, when you get to linked, you start watching YouTube videos. YouTube, he looks class.
yeah,
Everyone looks class on YouTube. I'm sure there's some highlights
yeah.
of me somewhere. You know what I mean?
Just like
Playing
the
completely.
podcast, we look great on YouTube, I must say.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. But yeah, do you think they're going to convert him into a holding defensive midfielder? Because he's not that kind of player. On his
No,
highlights, is not like that.
no, I don't think it'd be wise to. I think he's one of those players that it's almost like Wijnaldum when he was in the team. Is he played that box to box role, but there were games when we needed him to drop a bit deeper, and he played that role when we need him to. But if you think now, you've got Endo in there, Thiago's coming back, Jones can play in that position, Elliott
Yeah.
can play in that position, Pacetic is back as well.
Yeah.
I think that they're happy with him being sort of the box to box, and it'd be
Doing what he does.
interesting because that Ajax team that he was in, and that season that Ajax were close to getting to the final, he was absolutely industrious, and he was just a key component of that midfield that was just
He's
right.
massive as well, isn't he? Was he
Yeah, he's
6'2",
about
6'3"?
6'2" or something like that, and I think we need that in the midfield as well.
Yeah.
It's we've lacked a bit of height. We've got this sort of speed, but we don't have that enforcer in the
Yeah.
midfield. I think sometimes it makes us a bit easier to just play over the top through balls, through the midfield
Where does he
because
fit
we
in?
haven't got that height.
So where does he fit in for you in an 11?
To me, I don't think at the moment he starts. I think
Okay.
he's Klopp's happy with McAllister playing in there. I think that's the issue that you've got is the only way it works if McAllister goes and sits in the six. But when you've got Thiago back, I think Thiago has to come and play in the six whenever he gets the opportunity. He's just magical in that midfield and he has to play.
Yeah,
And I think
I
that,
think you might be a bigger fan of his than me.
oh, come on.
He is
He's the
class, but
source.
he's
He's
not
the source.
consistently class.
He's proper Torka, man. He is
Yeah.
Jangitara. Like, he is the proper masala that you need. He's just beautiful in the midfield.
Mm. He is. I'm not denying he's got talent, and I'm not denying his class. I just don't. I find him. He's one of those players, and he's like a Scholesy. They're not athletic. They're not got like loads of
Yeah.
pace. They're not got. They're not going to absolutely smash into players. But when you give them the ball, they can find a
Yeah.
pass that will create something. So you lose a little bit with Thiago in the team, and I think there's only certain games that work.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like when we're playing against a crap Man United team where he absolutely bossed them and we battered them. Just going to put that dig in there for the United fans. But those kind of games where the teams are just like
Yeah.
sitting back and allowing us to play, he's perfect for that.
Mm-hmm.
But when we're going to come up against teams like City, who are hard to get the ball off, who will counter attack you like within a second, I think players like Gravenberch and McAllister, who's playing in that deep role at the moment, are better. I think we're better off with them in the team. I don't think he's going to leave it too long. It'd leave him too long on the bench, I think because he's come from Bayern after a season, obviously of hardly playing any games and wanting to play.
Yeah.
So Klopp's got a team on his hand now. Look at the players.
Well, he
Like,
said he was
literally.
happy with the team that he's got as well. And I think that the best thing for me, and I know people might laugh at it, but I'm excited that we've got Europa League this season because I
Yeah,
think
man.
we need a year just to not have to play Salah every single week
Yeah,
and him
man.
have to burn out. Give the chance to someone else to play in those positions. And I think it'd be much better for the team in the long run when, like you said, Gravenberch, instead of sitting on the bench because he can't make into the first team, he can go play midweek, and get that experience, play those 90 minutes and run the midfield. For me, I think that's the best part about this season is, yes, we've got the expectations. Yes, we spent the money, but also we're in an arena that isn't the Champions League for, we've been there for God knows how many years now. And we know how tough it can be, when you're going away to a team like Napoli or you're going away to even like we found out when you go to Red Star, what happens when you don't play at the best of your ability. So I think that's going to be much better for the development of the team this year as well.
I'm looking forward to the Europa League. I mean, we're
Yeah.
playing teams like Lasak. Who the hell are they? And you know what I mean? But the thing with Klopp is, I want him to go for every trophy. But historically, when he has like a Carling Cup game or a Carabao Cup game, whatever you call it, he tends to go B team completely, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Early
And
doors.
somehow we managed to get halfway to
I
where we
know, I
need to
know.
get.
But the point I'm trying to make now is I think our B team is actually a
Yeah.
challenge for our A team, which is what I'm excited about. So I'm looking forward to these cup competitions, even if it's not the team that's smashing the Premier League and we got players coming in. Like I'm happy with the bench. I'm genuinely happy with the bench. And like you said, we've got players coming back from injury that we've completely forgotten.
Yeah.
And they would normally make first team.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. We'll see.
Exciting times.
I
So we've
know,
talked
man.
about the players coming in. What about some of the players that have gone out? We had a few comments by Henderson this week, El Capitano. For me, I've said is I just completely baffled by some of the stuff that he was saying.
Did you? I'll be honest. I didn't actually listen to his interview, but I've heard a lot of conversation around it and heard little clips. So I don't. I probably should. To be fair, I probably should have listened to it and seen what to make of it. Yeah, it's not good, is it?
No,
It's not
knowing
good.
your ex-club captain, who's
Captain, I know.
he's
He
won
won
it all at
everything.
Liverpool. he's a legend. In my eyes, I think he is. When I think of what the team he came and played in with Steven Gerrard and what he had to sort of inherit in that role, how it's just legendary status. But to come out not even a month, 2 months after and start throwing a few jibs and jabs at the team just seems like I didn't get it, to be honest with you.
I wonder. I haven't I haven't listened to the interview. I wonder if the line of questioning made him uncomfortable about the fact that he's gone to Saudi Arabia to
Yeah,
make some
yeah.
money.
I
So
think that's the
he
big
had to
thing.
he had to come up with some other excuses
Yeah,
to make it look like, look,
like from
I've gone.
everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Like, everyone keeps saying, "Oh, you've gone for the money." Why can't he just say, "Yeah, I did"?
yeah, definitely.
Why can't you say that?
I
Is that
don't
a bad thing to
understand.
say?
Yeah,
Like,
just
I'd be honest. I'd be like,
yeah,
yeah, I've literally gone for the money. I'm coming towards the twilight years of my career. There's players coming up behind me that are brilliant. Mention some names. Say, I'm going to be honest. I probably wouldn't be playing every single game. However, if I go to this league where they're building, I've got a chance of playing every week, which I love
yeah,
to do. I play football. I love to play football. I want to play every week. And they're offering me more money. Why
yeah.
would you say no? Why would anyone say no?
No.
Well, I'm glad Salah said no, but why would anyone else say no?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, and I think it was really weird, and I think I do agree with you that it seemed like it was deflecting quite a bit. I think people would respect it more. Liverpool fans would respect it a lot more if he just held his hands up and said,
Yeah.
"Yeah, like I think we all knew that," and I don't blame him for not being happy that he wasn't going to play the same role that he played in the Liverpool team, but he needed to understand. I think he understood that this team needed to take a bigger step forward if it was to achieve the goals that the owners and the club and the fans deserve. But yeah, it was very strange. I can't lie. I'd expect something like that from someone like Fabinho, to come out
Yeah.
and make a comment like that because at the end of the day, he had an incredible few years at Liverpool.
Yeah.
Had one sort of shaky season, and it was the next minute people calling for his head and happy that he'd gone through the door. But it's the other way around where, and it just seems a bit baffling to me. Same with Mane, when Mane left, I thought, oh, maybe he'd be one to sort of, make a few comments, but never ever. I never thought it was going to be Henderson, but, and
I can't imagine Klopp saying you're not wanted. I can imagine
no,
him saying, "Look, you're not going to get every
yeah,
single game." And which, if he had said that, that's probably obvious anyway.
yeah,
That was obvious. He wasn't going to play every
yeah,
single game. He played the amount of games he played because of injuries and other
yeah,
players not being able to be there. So I mean, he knew himself he wasn't going to play every game. Klopp probably mentioned that to him when that offer came in.
hmm
I mean, just say it. Just be honest. Like, what? Who's going to say what to you? So if you come out and say, "Yeah, listen, I'll come for the money."
yeah,
However, there was a link with Stevie G. I thought that'd be good. I could link up with him. We're mates. And get more money. I'm going to get played every week. I'm going over there, and he made some other comment as well about going over there and trying to, fight for the rights of the
yeah,
LGBT community,
no,
and like, I've got to do it from within. Shut up, man. Shut up. Why are you chatting it for? Just be honest, man. Like,
yeah,
which Liverpool fan is going to knock him for taking a bag of money at the
hmm
end of his career after he's given us everything he's given? I'd,
yeah.
I'd literally, I'd clap my hands and say, fair play to you, lad. You know what I mean?
What'd be interesting to see is what Stevie actually thinks about that. The fact that Hendo's come out, made these comments, and like that's it's kind of crazy to think that's all come out with two ex-club captains in one
Mm.
environment. And what made it even worse for me is he's taking digs at the manager, taking digs at the team, but then he's sheltering the owners, FSG, and the hierarchy in
Mm.
the club. And it's like, well, you're creating the divide. And
Taking
I think
money.
to me it showed
Yeah.
that there's a clear divide between how the back room operates and how the actual sort of on the pitch and immediate team operates as well. Because to separate the two and say, well, this is not right what happened, but these have got the best interests of the club at heart, doesn't make any sense to me because I can't lie, they
Mm.
were chuffing and licking their lips when they found out that you were going
Mm.
at that
I
age
know.
for that money as well. It was a really strange interview, and I think you've nailed it there by saying that it might have been the line of question, it might have been the pressure, the sort of
Yeah.
need to speak. but I think it's just done more harm than good, and it's an
Yeah,
interesting
and
take
it's a
on that.
shame because he was, and still is. He's a
Yeah,
Liverpool legend, and he's just tarnished. That everyone will forget about it after a few months. That's not a problem, but just not nice to
yeah,
have that come out in the papers and for him to say things like that. Is if he has, like I said, I haven't listened to the interview. I might go back and listen to it and see if everyone's. You know what the news outlets are like. They try and make something out of nothing. So
yeah.
it could be a bit of that as well. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, he's still a legend. I don't care what anyone else says.
Yeah. We talked about Salah as well. Thankfully, he stayed. And to me, again, I think we did a lot of bad for that, but
I'm telling you,
big
man.
surprise because if you think, what, 2 seasons or season back ago, when his agent was making comments about him moving away and sort of trying to push the agenda that, he was happy to leave. And it seems like a year later, no, he's committed to the club. And I think that was a big shock to me when it was all in shining lights for him. And to me, it shows the competitiveness in the man, the athlete in him, and just sort of the character as well to stay when you've got silly numbers getting thrown at you. What did you make of the whole situation?
I'm surprised he's not gone. If I'm
Yeah,
honest, I'm glad he's here because
yeah,
he's our talisman and scores all the goals and plays every single game, every single minute, more or less. Otherwise, he comes off with a hissy fit. But I'm surprised. I genuinely am surprised that they want to make him what the most expensive bought
yeah.
player in the
More
world.
than Ronaldo.
They want to give him the highest wage as well.
Yeah,
He's going to Saudi Arabia, where he's a Muslim country. He would be treated like God, basically.
the Sheikh himself.
And what's he got left here at Liverpool? He's done everything he could have done here. He's won everything he
No
could have won.
Champions League football either.
That is that worth is staying in England and playing for Liverpool, who aren't in the Champions League, worth what is it? What was the reported weekly figures that he was going to get?
God knows. Upwards of 400-500K a week, I think.
Nah, million. It looks
No, it
like a
wasn't.
million a week,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
can't have been.
I saw like 1.4 million a week. He was
Oh,
on
I
like
don't even want to know. It made me feel sick just thinking about it. Oh,
because he's on close to
he's on
what
about
250.
400 a
Well, there
week
you
at the
go.
moment.
He's on close to 500,000 with us. It was more
Yeah,
than double. It was more than double his wage. I think they were going to triple his wage,
yeah,
which is like peanuts for them. And triple your wage? Can you imagine? Some
I
of it.
know.
I've said this millions of times. Can you just imagine somebody came up to you and offered you twice or three times the amount of money to do the
Yeah,
same job you're doing now, all right, in a different country, but where you'd probably be able to do it better because the caliber of people around you aren't as good, and you're going to be out. Like, why would you not take it?
yeah,
Like Liverpool would have, with the money that they had coming in for him, they were saying 200 million, weren't they? So I think
yeah,
they were going up to 2 million. They're 200 million. That's like, that's minimum three players.
yeah,
So you're taking one player away who's 30 plus. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he should have gone. I'm happy he stayed. For our sake, I'm happy he stayed. But I would have understood if he went. I would have understood the club if they sold him. I would have
yeah,
understood Saudi Arabia buying him for the fact that he's in his prime and the shirt sales will go into the billions with the amount of Muslim supporters they've got over there and around the world. He'd become the figurehead for their. I, it kind of doesn't make sense to me that he's still here, if I'm honest.
I think
I'm
a
happy he's
lot of
here.
it seemed like it was a Liverpool club thing that had it come in June, had it come in May, I think we wouldn't be talking about it now. I
Yeah.
think it'd be long past it, and the Liverpool team looked completely different. But the
Mm.
fact that it was the last few weeks of the window just meant there was, if you think about it, the wingers available, the market for attacking wingers, who is there really? If you look at the league, there's Saka and Bowen, who you just know are going to be inflated figures anyway.
Mm.
If you look around the globe,
Why would
there's
Saka come to Liverpool anyway?
well, exactly. If you look around the globe, there isn't that market for right wingers, especially on the level that Salah is as well. And I
Yeah.
think, it wouldn't surprise me if in January they come knocking again. And if he goes it wouldn't surprise me either, dependent on
I was
where
just, I was just,
Liverpool are.
yeah, I was just
Yeah,
going to say that depending on how he's playing,
yeah,
where Liverpool are, and
yeah,
whether they've identified a replacement now, because they must
yeah,
have in the
yeah.
background now. They must be thinking, "Hang on, these lot are going to come in
They come
next
back in
window."
again because they will. At the end of the day, nothing will change the fact that that's Mo Salah, one of the most recognised global superstars, one of the most recognised Muslim players, like you mentioned. He'd be the absolute star boy for that league, and you could just see how much
Yeah,
that would
he'll
grow
kill
for
it.
them.
I
And
mean, whatever money they spend on him, they're gonna make back.
yeah,
They're gonna make
exactly,
back.
and tenfold because the endorsements. If you think he's bringing Adidas
Exactly.
to the table,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
bringing
yeah.
God knows what other brands to the table. Pepsi as well. All these brands. And he is the sort of role model for the Middle East, really. So I agree with
He's a
you. I
class
wasn't
player as well.
surprised.
He's literally their kind of player.
Yeah,
Someone at the top of their game with their religion and their morals and their standards. And oh man, he would light up. And then everyone would follow him as well. You know what
yeah,
I mean? You
yeah,
get someone like Mo Salah go in there, and you'll see the furore around him and all the praise he's getting for being one of their own kind, and how
yeah.
much support he would get. I think everyone else would go. There is quite a few of the Premiership Muslim players that have gone there, and I think that's a
Yeah.
reason because
Mhm.
they probably feel a bit more wanted there, and they're getting the money there, and they can smash the league out with the kind of players that they're going to be playing against. Why not? It does surprise me he's not gone, but I think he will be gone.
Yeah. Maybe this is what Punjab need to do: is just build up this league, start getting the Punjabis in. Or just build up from over there, and then just start going like that.
There's no money in
Maybe,
Punjab, man. It's too
well,
much corruption. It's too much corruption, man. That money.
that's perfect. You'll be able to sort games, sort everything, security be on the cheap. Then be sorted.
Mo
Maybe a
Salah,
few sort of dodgy
come play for Punjab
fixtures.
FC. We'll give you 10 rupees roti, pani puni. That's all free.
Yeah, sorted.
You know what I mean?
Grow the
You get
game.
your
Grow the
as long as you do a bit of save in the Godora, we'll sort your food
game.
out.
Yeah, sorted. I think it
Yeah.
might catch on. You never know. We'll see what
Never
happens.
mind.
But thankfully, yes, like we mentioned, Salah is here to stay, and he should more than likely be playing right wing in our next game against Wolves, which is the first game back after the international break, the 12:30 kickoff, the
Oh, hang on,
notorious.
sorry to stop you. Before you move on, genuinely, who do you think in our team is Mo's replacement going forward? Because if he went, and like we said, there's no one out there on the market that we can identify, as two Desi Bundes sitting in front of a camera, with all the experience we've got over the last few weeks. who in our team is Salah?
I think
There's only two
the only
players to mind, but
I
none of
can't
them are
lie.
his good.
I think it would look like that Ben Doak would probably
Yeah,
step in there, and I think
and
Klopp would
I was
be
thinking the
like
same.
him or Elliot, one of the two. But it seems like
Yeah,
Elliot is happy with in midfield. I think Doak would do a job on that side. I don't think Jota would be effective off the wing either.
nah,
I
not on
think
the
if you
right
look at
side
the
anyway.
market, it's just you'd have to buy a mega superstar. It would have to be, with that money, it'd have to be Mbappe simply, and you wouldn't want to
You
play on
can't,
the
you wouldn't
right. You
afford, you
want to
wouldn't
play
afford
from
him.
the middle,
Yeah, it's not
and you just
enough.
have to jam somebody else on the right wing, and that's the issue that you've got there. Is with that money, you'd have to buy that only man. There's nobody else that you could stick on the right there.
Yeah,
I think that's the issue that you've
right-sided
got.
players. I'm just trying to think of who are good right-sided players and a similar kind of style to Salah, and I can't really
There
think
isn't
of.
many at the moment, and that's a problem that you've got. Is that the ones that are available are sort of in their twilight stage
Yeah,
of their
yeah,
career, or they're too young and they're going to be too
mm.
expensive. You look, the more it seems to be there's more left wingers than there is anything
Yeah, yeah,
else.
yeah.
Rafael Leao and Kvaratskhelia and stuff like that. There is
Mm.
no market on the right side, and that's why him going it would have been sort of crazy for Liverpool. And I think that's why
Mm.
he is staying in the end.
And I think that's the only reason he hasn't gone because there's no
Yeah,
replacement for him right now.
yeah,
But their back office must be going crazy at the moment, looking at
yeah.
who's going to come in because he is going.
Well, I'm sure we'll have this conversation in January when the Saudis are back again and they've got a bit more money behind them again, and Liverpool might be. Yeah, we'll find out. I'm sure we'll find out in January. But
Do
yeah,
you
we'll
think
go
he
on.
goes? Do you think he goes if we're in the title race?
No, I think
No.
it'll be one of those where he must have what 2 years left on his contract, a year left on
Yeah.
his contract, something like that. Is
Well,
it'll
it'll be a
be
year left next summer, won't it? So he'll definitely be. If he's going, he'll go next summer.
he'll go in the summer, yeah, definitely. I think it'll be a deal agreed in January because the thing is if you think it's 6 months or so of Saudi League football,
Yeah.
it's people are watching it, people are interested in it. The players are obviously attracting, the money and the brand. There might not just be the one team interested. Like we've seen the Liverpool links over there at the moment as well. Is once they know that they can get a sniff and there's an opportunity there, you don't know who could come sniffing.
Money
So I can
talks.
see in
Money talks.
January
Yeah.
deal being done, and
Yeah. For the summer.
and again, like you said, I'd respect it. I think the fans would respect it, and it'd give us time to find a replacement and
Yeah.
see where this Liverpool
I
team
think
needs
that's the better option. Agree it
Yeah,
in January. Give him a good send off at the end of the season.
yeah. Because it's
And
what he deserves, and I think it's what the team deserves as well. It'd be cruel
um,
for us to
again,
start the way we've started. He's what every single game he's had a goal contribution, isn't it? And I think he's the most consecutive goal contributions that he's had, and it was a record that he beat, and he said it himself as well. So it tells you just how dominant, he is, and how dominant he's been as well.
yeah, it'll be a shame, but every legend has to go at some point. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately,
I hope we give him a send off that's worthy of the.
we've seen too many legends leave. That's the problem. It's heartbreaking now. It's in
That means
the
we're
front
getting
three
old.
spot. We've
I
just
know I'm old, but that means you're getting old as well.
I don't like to hear it. I still thought Torres was playing for us. That's how it feels like.
Oh
Jal,
man,
should we move on to Wolves now? Kosh, you got it all out.
Wolverhampton,
They look
Wolverhampton.
like a Barcadia. All good.
Well then, let's see,
Okay.
man. Let's see what we
Wolves,
got.
12:30 kickoff. We know not to back the early kickoff on a Saturday. We know it's notorious a bad time for Liverpool. We never seem to turn up, and Klopp doesn't seem to be a big fan of it. What we
What do you think
thinking?
it is about early kickoffs?
I think it's because you have your roti too early in the morning. It's just set me
Nah,
on that.
brought in the morning.
That's what you get brought early on.
I
You
look
get the
brought in the
bus
morning.
early. Just set me on that. I think that's what it is. And you can't
Yeah,
go for you
it's a
have to
funny
have an
one.
early night the night before as
They're
well.
like they're like traveling the night before, though, don't they? They always get there. They're staying in hotels and stuff. They're not. It's not like the olden days where they travel
No.
early doors. So they should be fresh when they wake up. They've
He
only got to go
likes
down the road.
likes his walks before the game as well, and you have to schedule it earlier then, and you don't get enough sleep. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe he needs to cut down his
They probably get
walks.
mugged walking around in Wolves, mate.
Yeah, walking around Wolverhampton. Yeah, it's just the Midlands in general. I think we know that to a fact as well.
Maybe that's what it is, man. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not the time of day that they're kicking
Gotta
off.
get, man.
It's the
Maybe that's
location.
why they're having to play at 12:30 because they can't do it in the dark or do it in the afternoon because you don't know what could happen then.
They should have Beyond out that early. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? You get them.
maybe that's what it is.
Imagine the Desi Sharabs at nighttime, man, in Wolverhampton.
Proper Dissy. Or they just shouldn't be playing. They're going for a mixed grill instead.
Yeah, true.
Dissy
True.
Talpa. See Trent having some roti in the corner somewhere instead of
I might have to
assistant.
go down and give a mixed grill man of the match
Come on, a
there and
little
then.
platter
You know
to
what I mean?
stand outside the stadium.
I'll go give one of them a beer if they're playing that.
I'll
We'll
leave
go
it to
see
you.
it.
It's your responsibility now.
Yeah, man. It's not too far. It's only 10 minutes down the road.
Well, we'll find out. You have to do a special if that's the case. But yes, so Wolves.
Live,
Yeah,
live
live feed of what's going on.
beer,
John, what are you
beer,
thinking? What's the predictions? We've seen, obviously, they had a tough
tough,
time,
man.
tough start, obviously losing Lopetegui,
Mm.
sort of losing big players as well. But they've had, some, the early game, United, they could have got a point there. They've had close calls, but they just don't seem to be, firing on all cylinders. But they still
They're
have.
up and down, aren't they? They're up and down. I think the game against Man United, they were class. How they did not come out of that with a win,
Yeah.
not even a draw. That was a robbery, man. They played really well. Who's their Eastern player on the left that came on the sub? He's one to watch out for.
Wang Yi Chan.
Yeah, man. He's one to watch.
Caused
I
trouble
really like
for
him.
us in the Champions League a few seasons back as well.
Oh, man. He is one to watch. He's coming up as a super sub at the moment. Look, if we want to challenge for the title, if we want to be the old Liverpool, we want to show that we've got new players and we're ready to roll, then this kind of game should be a win. It should be a guaranteed win. You shouldn't really be struggling against Wolves no disrespect to Wolves, but if you're comparing Liverpool to Wolves, we should be winning this game. But there is something about that early kickoff, Liverpool coming to the Midlands, and we're on a high. And every time we're on a high, there always seems to be a blip somewhere on the road. But that's the old Liverpool last season, you know what I mean? So maybe this is a new Liverpool. At the end of the game, we're looking at a hammering, and we've absolutely battered them, and we're back on cloud nine, and maybe it's a new feeling. But
Yeah.
yeah, something just doesn't feel right, does it? Like you said, man, you've had a dodgy chili the night before. You don't feel right. But yeah, what, do you want to go on predictions, or what do you reckon?
I think again, I agree with you. It's a tough game to start. Just again, first game after the international break. I think the good thing is that not many of the Liverpool players have gone
Mhm.
on international duty. You obviously got the odd few. You also got to think about the air miles that the South American lot that we've now got in our team have had to
Mhm.
go through as well to be going
Yeah,
there
that's a
and
good
back.
point,
So
actually. That's a good point.
normally we're not used to having that many key players being, normally it was Alisson, Fabinho, maybe Firmino, we could rotate him out. But if you think,
Mm.
Szoboszlai's had to go into Europe, down at Scotland as well, we've got South America. So you've got to factor that in, I think, and that could play a big part in it. Wolves probably has maybe 2 or 3, 4 internationals that have gone away, and they're their key players too. So that plays a big
Yeah,
role in
we're
it.
playing Scotland, aren't we? Friendly Tuesday. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Robbo, captain. England versus Scotland gets a bit
Yeah, he's
tasty.
going to be
You know
putting in
what?
Braveheart. He's not going
I,
to be pulling out of any challenges as well.
I
So,
do not want him to get injured. If he gets
no,
injured, I know we got
well,
Simicast has
Costa's
been playing as
still
well,
doing
hasn't
a job. Yeah.
he?
So
Yeah.
it'd be interesting, but I think it's going to be tough. And I think a point that we need to talk about is what's the lineup going to be if we think that, there's talks that Thiago could be back, Pacetic, we knew what he could do last season, and Klopp was a big fan of him. If
Mm.
Trent's not fit, what goes on there? What are you thinking?
I think the back four's easy. If Trent's fit, him, Robbo, Gomez, and Matip. Is Matip injured?
No, I don't think so.
No,
I think he
okay.
got
So
away
that's
with
the,
it
that's
in
the
this
back
game.
four. That's the back four if he's not injured. If he is injured, Kwanzaa comes in and Gomez to the right. So back four, I think, is easy. Midfield two are easy. Mac and Sob. You know what I mean? They're gonna 100% start if they're fit and healthy. Then it starts getting a little bit interesting now.
Yeah.
Starts getting a little bit interesting. That third position. Uh, Endo's not going to start. I think Klopp's identified him as a someone to come on when the team were
Yeah.
playing are a bit tired. Gravenberch, do you put him straight in? If Thiago, I wouldn't risk
I
it
don't
because
think Thiago comes straight back in. I think
yeah,
it depends again on. I think we need someone in the midfield a bit
I
creative,
think we've
but
got Jonesy.
I think Jones is going to be the one that
Mhm.
Klopp ends up picking in the end. He's got big. He's
Yeah,
a big fan of Curtis Jones.
yeah. Salah can't. Salah's stuck in cement. He's never going to be out the starting lineup. Um, and if he is, that would be a sign of a bust up, I think. But Salah always starts. Oh, Nunes or Jota starting. Gakpo, Diaz, I think would start. Would you say Salah and Diaz are
I
starters?
think
I
Salah
reckon.
and
I
Diaz
think.
are going to end up starting. I think it's a toss
Yeah.
up between 3 through the middle, though. I think
Yeah.
it really is a tough call because, well, Nunes got 2 assists whilst he was away. I know Gakpo scored as well. I think I haven't heard much about Jota either. So, again, but against Wolves, old stomping grounds for Jota, might know the defence, might know the plays a bit better. He
It's a good
turns up
point.
as well. So,
Good point. He'll definitely make an appearance at some point. You have to.
yeah.
Yeah, you got a good point. Maybe during the week he's in Klopp's ear. This players like this players like
Oh,
this. And
man,
then
yeah, let me play,
yeah,
man.
then my mum might be thinking, you know what, this guy knows what he's talking about. Let's get him on. Um, yeah, man. What it's going to be a tough defense. They're going to be quite defensive. They're going to be a quite. Which player of ours is better when the defense is really tight? And out of the three, I would say Gakpo.
Oh, see, I'd
I would
say
say
Jota.
Gakpo. You say Jota, he's better
That's it.
against. I don't.
Yeah.
I think Jota's better running off players when he's got a bit of a run on a defender.
I think when he
Gakpo's
gets the
ball
ball
is
to his
fixed.
feet, though, like when we saw in the Newcastle game, set through Nunes, and he was
Yeah,
just
true.
creating chances when it
If
was
you want him
tight.
in there to create chances, yes, but then no one creates more chances than Nunes. He don't put him away, but
Yeah.
I don't think anyone creates more than him. He just doesn't know how to score, does he? Bajana. Unless he's coming on last 10 minutes against
Last
Newcastle
minute,
and then 10
and
minutes.
St James Park, he knows what to do.
Yeah, I don't think he starts. I think Gakpo is suited to the game personally. I think
Yeah.
you're saying Jota, aren't you? Only reason I say Gakpo is he's really good at holding the ball as well. You
Yeah.
know, he's one of those players where they look for him. He'll hold the ball. He's strong. He's happy to run past players if he's got a run on them. And I think that for that reason I'd go with Gakpo. Or I'm trying to think the way Klopp would think. I'd say
I
Gakpo.
reckon if Trent's not playing, I think Gakpo starts because the midfielder will go deeper and they want someone to fill in that little gap there. I think if Trent's
Yeah.
playing, it'll be the opposite and Jota will end up starting because he's sort of
If
playing
you're
in the
asking me who I want to start, I'd go Nunes anyway all day long. And number 9 has to start.
No,
Uh,
Nunes.
I'm trying to think. None I would start, but I'm trying to think of what Klopp's thinking, and I think Klopp's thinking might be more suited to Gakpo.
Yeah.
So that's the front three. What about midfield then? Who's our third? Who's our third
I
midfielder
think
then?
it's Jones. It's going to
You
be
think
nailed
Jones?
on Jones, isn't it? He had a good game against Villa. So I think
Yeah.
Klopp's a big fan of him at the moment.
We're
I
going
think I'd be
Mac.
surprised if it
Yeah,
was anyone else, to be honest with you.
fair enough. Mac Jones and Sob in midfield. We're going. You're going Jota.
Yeah.
All right, you're going Jota, Salah, and Diaz. That's not a bad team though. And if you tweak one or two of them, it's still not a bad team, which is what I love about Liverpool at the moment. The team
So what
sheets are not
score?
making me.
What's the score we're saying then with that team in mind? Because we've had some good predictions so far. I've been on the money with most of them. So
Yeah,
what are we
man.
feeling?
All right. One of us is always right, isn't it? So
I don't know. So it works out well for us every time.
you know what? Dodgy early start. Liverpool and all the players coming off an international break. I'm going to go Liverpool 3-2.
3-2. Wow. I think I'm going to go with a 2-1. I think I
Straight down.
agree. I think Wolves are going to get a goal from a corner that will just somehow end up in the back of the net. And I think Liverpool will manage to pull it back towards the end somehow. It's
So
going to be a
3-2
tough
and
game. It's
2-1.
going to be a really tough game.
Yeah, man. It will be, and it always is. But you know what? 3 points is what we need.
Everything crossed. Jalfred, lovely as always. We've been talking about Liverpool and happy with their start to the season, and long may it continue, even
Yeah,
though
man.
we're concerned about the Wolves game ahead. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and we look forward for you to join us on our next edition of the Aapna Reds podcast. Thank you, Anil, again, and we'll see you
You
guys
too, man.
next time.
See you later.